So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another album review of The Chill Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today we're going to talk about the brand new album by the band Dune, and it's called Voidkind. So, for those of you that don't know Dune, they're a Scottish progressive metal band that mixes progressive elements of music with sludge. Think of Tool meets Mastodon meets Neurosis, and you have the sound that is Dune. I like it that they mix these elements and really create a cohesive experience. I first got to know the band on their previous album that I'm not going to mention the name because I'm going to butcher it, but I remember that album and thinking, yeah, this is a very interesting band. Obviously, they're named after Frank Herbert's book Dune, and they tackle a lot of like sci-fi material in their albums, and usually they write concept albums, and this album is another concept album. But what's interesting about this concept album is that it's 10 tracks, and every track doesn't follow like a linear story like what they did in the past. And also they cut a little bit of the length of the song. I remember their last album, it was great, but it was more than an hour, like an hour and 10 minutes. It was very long, and it had some songs that, or I think they were almost 10 minutes. So on this one, it's not to say that they don't have longer tracks, but I think they were able to have a more concise sound and have it be, maybe more palpable and enjoyable for casual listeners that are not that into prog or are like casual prog fans. So yeah, there's 10 tracks, but there's actually two interludes that go into other tracks. So it's like 8 tracks, 58 minutes in length. And the concept in this record of Voidkind is about, these people that follow this god that apparently talks to them in their sleep. And no, it's not Sleep Token, okay? So, and it's all about like how they follow blindly this entity that talks to them, and he wants them to join him and, be part of like what essentially I gather is like a cult. So yeah, it's something that, has been touched upon in other like types of like metal bands, but I really like it how Doom does it, because it really gives it like a sci-fi element to it that I really enjoy. And something that I also like about this record is the different vocal styles. They do clean vocals, they do harsher, sludgier vocals, but I think when they do the cleans, the more progressive side of the band, I really enjoy it. I like some clean singing that is good, but it's not, it's not pop by any stretch of the means. So yeah, the tracks I'm gonna mention, like the different styles that they have. For example, on album opener, Soma Blasphemia, it's a more like aggressive track and really like a Neurosis type of feel to this track. They do really good on the instrumentation on all of the songs, but then you have songs that they use as singles like Eleonora and Pleroma, which I really think are standouts, especially Pleroma. I really like that. That's almost at the end of the record, and the singing there is great. I know that they have 3 people on the band that actually do the singing, so it's sometimes you don't know who's doing the singing, but I like it because when they do those clean vocals, it really gives it a lot of feeling to the track, and that one's great. Then you have the more aggressive tracks like Abode of the Perfect Soul, which is amazing track, and it's like a 7.5 minute track, and on that one, it gets more sludgier as the song goes and progresses. And also a song like Sarmatei also does that, and Reliquary, those are like the most the aggressive songs on the record. Then you have songs that do like a mixture of both, like Reaching for Telos, for example, does that. And the album ends with a 9.5 minute epic album closer song, Cobalt Song Necropolis. And on that one, they mix everything that they do in this record, the cleans, the harsher vocals, the more sludgier guitars, the progressive elements, all into one track. And it really ends the album on a very high note. And at the end of the record, it's almost sounds like the song is bursting. I don't know if that's like a metaphor for when, you know, the followers, the Voidkind, if you will, are like giving in to this entity, because that's what it sounds like at the end. And I think it's a perfect ending to the record. But do you have to know the story in this record to enjoy the record? No, I don't think so. I think you can listen to these tracks, especially since they don't follow like an order. You can listen to them individually and still enjoy this album. Because in the past they've done an album that follows a story. So in this one, you know, it's more like different stories, but they don't tie into each other. But yeah, there's an overall theme, and I think that's a great, you know, like concept for the record, and I really enjoyed it. I think Dune is a band that is very promising, and they keep getting better with each release. So I would say right now in the progressive metal albums that have been released so far in the year, I think this is at the top. So I'm sure I'm gonna see this album on a lot of end of year lists because it's just that good. And if you wanna know more about this record and the themes, I had a chat with Victor, and we talked all about this record, and also he explained better like what inspired the record and more in depth, even with the lyrics, because this is an album that is not a first time listen. You really have to like take time with it because it's not an easily listening record. You have to be in the mood to listen to this. And you can read the lyrics, but I think the lyrics can be interpreted in different ways. They're not like very clear cut paste lyrics, because I read them and I think I understood a lot, but not everything. So I want to know from you guys, what do you think of Voidkind by Dune? If you don't know this band, I would recommend that you listen to this album and give me your opinion. And if you like the videos that I'm putting out, you know, do not forget to give me a like and do not forget to subscribe. That helps me with the YouTube algorithm to get to more people like yourself. So until next time, people, this is Hector, the Shield Dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.